again, and welcome to another episode of Florida Foodie. I'm your host, Candace Campos, along with our producer, Thomas Mates. Welcome back, Thomas. Running a restaurant is a lot of hard work and long hours, and it certainly does not get any easier when you decide to open up a second restaurant. And that's especially true when both businesses are completely different. Different menus, different cuisine, just a whole different experience. And that is the challenge for today's guest, who recently undertook. So Trina Gregory Peros, she's the chef and owner of 7 Bites and the recently 3-month young Sete in Orlando. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I mean, so in the intro, it says here that you're opening up 2 different restaurants that are 2 completely different children. So
Yes.
give us an idea of what each one has to offer.
Well, 7 Bites is now 5 years old. So
Can you believe that?
no, because there's still new challenges daily, you know, for that. It's still a growing business, which is phenomenal and overwhelming all at the same time. We're so grateful that Orlando loves what we do and gets us. And it is so strictly, you know, Southern and over the top, gravy loaded deliciousness, and still a full service bakery. And now we've kind of moved 7 Bites into doing wholesale for other restaurants with our recent partnership with Barney's for their coffee. They're supplying us now with our own brand. We are the first business that they have done that
That's
for.
amazing.
And made
Congratulations.
specifically a coffee for us. So it's really exciting, and now we're doing sweets for them in their shop. So
it's like a wine, almost like a wine pairing if you think about it, but with
just
coffee.
like that. So we, you know, 7 Bites is all about, you know, nostalgic sweets, Southern goods. It's like your favorite church recipe, come to life that you can go in and get.
Yeah, it sticks to your bones.
It does. It does. It is definitely all the things that make Southern food the comfort food that it is. So.
And you smile so much when you talk about it. It is like a child that you're watching grow and develop. Like you said, there's always new experiences and new, you know, obstacles, but you take it each day as it comes.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you can't help but feel so happy about that people get you. I know that's a thing that I use now, because that's really truly what it is. You know, like people either get Southern food or they don't.
Right.
And I really love and appreciate that people love what we do so much.
And then now you have the 3-month-old Sete,
Yes.
which means 7 in Italian,
Yes.
right? So this is kind of a Italian-inspired cuisine, is what you're talking about.
It is, yes. So Sete is really my wife's baby. That is, this is her dream. You know, she helped with 7 Bites, and we've grown that business together. And so this is me getting to play a little bit of a different role with her. It's more of a support role, and I've gotten to do things that have kind of expanded my knowledge of running restaurants and running businesses, and I've tasted so much wine. It's you know,
That sounds hard.
It was not a hard task, really. It hasn't been super difficult, but nonetheless, you know, you really have to be thoughtful with what the food is, what's going to pair well with it, and we've really tried to be very concise with still remaining true to our brand, which is, you know, not necessarily everything under the sun, but really thoughtful, thought-provoking, you know, dishes, items in the dishes. I'm just as proud as I am of 7 Bites and the craft that we've put into making each dish, you know, by hand. She is the same exact way with her pasta. The joy that she has on her face when she is extruding that pasta out of that machine is like, it's literally like watching babies be born. It's so fabulous.
It's like just life coming out.
It is. And, you know, and I think that's probably, you know, people think we're so crazy for not only opening this second business when the first one is doing so busy and so well, but that it is such a completely different task at hand, and it still is that joy that you get when you see those dreams come to life. So it's really crazy. I know people are like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
so
You're
weird.
nuts.
It's like
Yeah.
completely opposite of
Yeah.
that. But when it's something that you love to do, it's obviously still work, but the joy that you find in it is the reward in the work.
And you have these two different cuisines, Southern and Italian inspired. And are you noticing any sort of like crossover between the two or parallels between the two cuisines, or is it just completely different animals?
You know, I think food in general, if you understand the culture, I mean, Southern food is a culture, Italian food is a culture. And for me, I find the parallels in it because Italian food is about family, and so is Southern food.
Right.
And so, in that respect, I see the connection so clearly. And I think that when people come into our new space, you know, we've tried to really pull a lot of the things that are really well known about Seven Bites, which is a comforting menu, kind of a stick to your ribs kind of feel. And so we have not surpassed that in Sete as well. You know, it is still hearty dishes with roasted braised meats and, you know, thick and rich sauces. We really wanted to still have that feel of knowing that, you know, the draw sometimes of what Seven Bites is that communal feeling of eating together, whether it's 1 or 10 people. And we've created a lot of larger style seating in Sete as well. And in return, we normally have a lot of really large parties that book with us now. So that's, I think the parallel of those two things coming together, that it's really more about the brand and the things that we're known for and creating that community and that, you know, family, that feel of family eating together, I think is really more what kind of transcends that one is Southern and one is Italian.
And I mean, if you think about it, I can think of a Southern mom or a Southern grandmother in the kitchen and saying, you're not eating enough. And I can
You
see
look
this-
so hungry.
Yeah, you look so thin, you know. And I can see the same thing with an Italian grandmother.
Exactly.
So I mean, what's that feeling of? You're practically like that woman in the kitchen, you know, producing this delicious food. What's that feeling like when you kind of look outside and you look at the dining area and you see everyone, you know, having conversations and talking and just sitting there and enjoying your food? I mean, what is that feeling as a restaurant owner, as a chef, as just all of that?
It really is the biggest reward. I mean, again, I know that I've said it, but it's that, oh, they get us.
Yeah.
They get what we do. And it's really, truly the reason why, as someone who is drawn to make food, cook food, you know, research food, that we do this, you know, is that end product, that seeing someone, you know, butter the biscuit and put it in their mouth and close their eyes and the eyes roll back in the head and you're like, I know what's going on right now in their mouth.
Yes.
That's so good. So.
And you're saying they get us, and you said, you talked about your wife, you know, kind of being the main kind of the mothership of Sete, and you with Seven Bites. So you're part of actually the LGBTQ business network.
Yes.
Orlando is really kind of pushing forward with this kind of this movement. Can you give people an idea, first off, what this network is and the recognition that now you've gotten from the city as well?
Well, I think the one main reason why we love having our businesses in the city of Orlando is this is something that they've just publicly announced, but it's something that Orlando has been embracing for years.
Right.
I mean, that's the main thing that I think that people have kind of overlooked. Maybe, yes, it's been an initiative and they, you know, have announced it and made it public that they are taking these bids and these contracts and really using them for LGBTQ owned businesses as a minority owned business and pushing that initiative forward. And I love that they wanted to be one of the first cities to really, you know, announce this and put it on record. But they've been doing business with all small businesses across the board in the city of Orlando for so long. It is one of the pleasures of wanting to have your business in the city of Orlando. They are so thoughtful in how they treat people with respect and equality, like constantly, you know. I think sometimes the city of Orlando has really gotten a bad rap about, oh, it's really hard to open a business. No, it actually isn't really hard to open a business in the city of Orlando, but you have to be a rule follower, and you have to find out what the details are, and you need to do your due diligence and ask for help. The people who work for the city in permitting and in all walks of, small business and city building and developing are so knowledgeable and want to share the information with you. It is truly, yes, are there frustrating experiences? Yeah, but they're doing their due diligence so your business is successful.
Right.
And vice versa. You really have to do your research. This is definitely not for the faint at heart. You have to be willing to roll with the punches and, follow the rules.
You don't just get a free pass just because you're part of the network. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, you're LGBTQ network. You can do anything you want. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's really transformed, I think, mainly because I just think the city really wanted to make sure that everyone knew that regardless of who you are, what gender you are, who you love, that the city wants to do business with you if you do good business.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is really the message behind that.
And the city chose 7 Bites to make this announcement, like to come out and say, we're starting this network, we're supporting these businesses.
Right.
What did that mean for you to be, like the locale for this announcement?
Well, obviously, we're always proud anytime that we can do anything with or for the city, and that's always something that, I love that we are so out in our community. We've never hid that it's me and my wife that own our business together. We've never hid that we are very proactive about making sure that people are treated with equality and with respect. We are very proud to have several LGBTQ staff in both of our restaurants, and I just think that, by default, we also have a pretty big location, and they were expecting a lot of people too. But I'm still super proud.
Yes, of course.
That they chose.
It's win-win all around.
It is. And who doesn't love some good coffee and pastries in the morning?
Yeah,
exactly.
And you were also, talking about putting your name out there and being part of the, the big announcement, but you've also been on some pretty big TV shows.
Just a few.
Can you give us an idea? There's a guy that I really love. His name is Guy Fieri. You know him. You guys are best friends now.
We actually do know each other rather well, and as well as the majority of his crew, who are really amazing, and we still keep in contact. We actually had another show air last night. And it was a lot of fun. So when we were moving into our large location, we got a phone call, which I totally thought I was being punked. Like,
of course, of course.
We're like, we were calling because we're with Food Network, and we wanted to see if you'd be interested in speaking with us about a show that's very popular. We need to send you an email. It's really nothing that I can discuss with you right now, but we'll send it in an email.
This is shady.
And I'm like,
right.
all right, yeah. All right, well, here's my email.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead and, send it.
You can't hack me that way.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
my email. That's the easiest way of doing it.
And literally, sure enough, like later that afternoon, this email came through, and it was doing, explaining a little bit about what they were looking for, and then, does this sound like something that you could comply with? And so then I replied, yeah, send me more information. And then the next email was like, well, this is for diners, drive-ins, and dives. And
Hello.
I'm like, shut up. And still then I was like, who has my email and who's created this,
right.
this thing? And it happened so fast. We moved in October. We got this call in January, literally like right at the beginning, 2017.
2017, so.
Because we opened in October of 2016 in the new location. And so there we are. It's all happening like really fast. And you're in this business, so I'm sure like, when things happen, they happen.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're answering emails, we're doing background checks. They have like all this paperwork you need to fill out and pictures you have to submit. And then they start sending just like tons of information of, these are the days we're going to be here, and this is what you're doing the first 30 minutes, and then the next 30 minutes. And I mean, it's planned out. This crew,
it's a well-oiled machine.
it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you know how they got your name? I mean,
I did come to find out. So one of the producers who came, Neil, went to Full Sail, and he was here and had eaten with us, as well as several of his friends. And then also they keep all the emails. So when people write in about, hey, you need to go visit this place, they really do keep that, and they can pull up a log of how many emails they've received about you, and and that, and then they do their due diligence as well, and they go through and do you make everything from scratch, and are you who you say you are, and do you produce the food the way that you appear to produce the food,
right.
You submit to them like 7 to 9 different recipes and things that you want to showcase, and then they pick which one. So you don't really get a pick. They pick, but you put your best foot forward, and you say, this is what we do. And it really was just a spectacular experience. It still is, so then to have the opportunity to do Triple G, because we were on Triple D, right? Guys Grocery Games, another fun thing. And
love those things.
It's so much fun. Like, it is a blast. And as much fun as we look like we're having, there is even more shenanigans that go on that no one gets to see. I always tell them, I'm like, man, if you could just do like
behind the scenes,
a show, like a B-roll of all the things that don't get said and shown.
Yeah.
You could have another whole 10 years worth of
people love
material
behind the
right there.
scenes material.
Yeah.
It's
a lot
funny
of fun.
because while you're talking here, we're in like a hallway in the News 6 kind of top floor, and there was a producer, her name is Haley, and she walked by, and all of a sudden she gave me the eye and turned around, she goes, I love her. So you have a following, and it's so amazing to kind of see that, because normally you're kind of in the background, and it's not you, but you represent what you guys are sending out of the kitchen, which works hand in hand, which is so nice.
It does. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and sometimes it's overwhelming, and then it's also this kind of feeling that we owe it to the city of Orlando and the people who eat with us to continue to make great food and give great Southern hospitality service. And it's the pressure is definitely there. And then especially with opening a new business, we have this reputation of, good, solid, quality food with great ingredients. And how are we going to elevate that? And what is it going to look like? And, how will we translate, our fast casual service into kind of, upscale casual? And how will we make sure that we're meeting the needs of what our next guest expectations are. So we really take a lot of pride in, knowing that the people have those expectations of us, and we want to be able to deliver it. It's why we surround ourselves with, I think, some of the most amazing staff.
Yeah.
Truly, they are our staff family, and we would not be who we are without them. I have some of the most talented bakers and cooks and management system, and they really are all just part of what makes us who we are as well.
And you're not the only local chef who's gone on to the Food Network and things like that. It seems like Orlando, like at large, the food scene here is starting to just gain more attention from, for lack of a better term, like the mainstream media of food that is the Food Network. So like what do you think is really like driving that? What do you think is like putting the spotlight on Orlando?
Well, I think our food scene here has transformed so much, mainly because people have finally realized that Orlando is more than just all of our theme parks, and the recognition that some of the many talented chefs have had with the James Beard Foundation, and just I think the events that we hold, the food and wine festivals that we hold, all of these things really kind of bring attention to how talented and how amazing the food culture is in Central Florida. I mean, and it really spans, from coast to coast. And we have just this kind of appropriation for wanting to do more farm to table things and having the ability to do it because the food is being grown here in Florida, and I think the more that we talk about it and make people aware of, we buy our things locally. Like our orange juice comes from Vero Beach, Lambeth Groves. It is a non-pasteurized orange juice. It is Florida in a jar. It is amazing. And, it is the orange juice that I remember of. I tell this story all the time. My grandfather and I used to go to the Itchituckney to go tubing in his little red MG Midget when Colonial had stoplights on it and not very many. It was orange groves, and in the way down in the morning you heard, all the bees buzzing and it smelled like oranges, and on the way home it smelled like orange blossom because they had opened during the day. And that inhalation of that taste in your mouth is really captured in this orange juice. And so by making people aware, when people come in and they're like, oh, why is your orange juice $3.75 for 12 ounces? I'm like, because it's fresh squeezed, delicious orange juice.
How about you taste it? And,
it
you'll find out.
Put that in your mouth right there, and it's just, we're so proud of the fact that we really try to research and use like the best and highest quality ingredients. And I think that's the trend that you see with all chefs locally. They want to take this melting pot of what they know and what their food culture is and what they've learned from their family. And the majority of people that you see that are getting this recognition, that's what people want to know. Like, why is this special? What makes it different? And we have a lot of that here. We have a lot of really special, amazing, talented chefs here in Orlando and business owners who really are just doing amazing things.
Yeah, and you are continuing to do amazing things. So for anyone who hasn't heard of you or where you're located, give us an idea of where Seven Bites and Sete are.
Seven Bites is located at 617 North Primrose in the Milk District. So we're right over in that area where the Total Wine and that whole shopping center, Total Wine is a great landmark. Everybody knows where the Total Wine is. And Sete is at 1407 North Orange over in Ivanhoe Village. So we are in the location that was the iconic and historic Brian's restaurant. So right there overlooking the lake, and it's really amazing. We are really happy and proud to have our second business in that location.
And Seven Bites, is it more like family, just, for younger kids? I mean, what's kind of the different feel for both restaurants?
Well, Seven Bites is fast casual.
Asking for a friend and myself.
Seven Bites is fast casual, so you place your order at the counter, they give you a number, everything is delivered to you. We have staff that helps clean up, so it's not service where you sit down and have your order taken, but it does move quickly. We have a lot of people who are like, oh, there's a line outside, and it moves really quickly. Like, we are a well-oiled machine. They are the bomb. We explain, we have someone who's out front on the weekends explaining what our specials are, so you know what you want when you come in.
You're ready to pounce on what you want.
You are. And, we all always, when we're really busy, we tell our guests, hey, make room for more friends that are coming to eat with you.
Good.
And I think that people know that about us now. And they know, we're going to be sharing space while we're eating. So, and it is kid friendly. We have high chairs. We have, everything is wood and metal and a concrete floor, so easy to clean up. Easy to clean up. We love babies destroying biscuits. It's awesome.
Yes, and if you have a baby destroying one of their biscuits, please probably tag them on Instagram. They want to see it.
That's right. And Sete is upscale casual. We still wanted people to feel like they were getting a really great meal, but could still feel comfortable coming in, Florida wear.
Or I was going to say Orlando attire.
That's right. And we do have a limited kids option menu, but I mean, most kids love pasta, Who doesn't want butter noodles or meatball?
Gosh.
So we definitely have that. We have little booster seats for them. No high chairs, but we have booster seats.
There you go.
Yeah. Either way, we can feed those babies.
Bring the family.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So my last question though is,
Yes.
you've likened your restaurants to children. You have a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old. When do you think you'll sleep again?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
In real life, I have a 13-year-old son, and I feel like my sleepless nights have just begun. I don't know. I don't know that there really ever is a time when our businesses and the growth of our businesses and the security of having 67 people we're responsible for giving a job to will ever allow us to rest on that. It is always, what else can we do, and what will be the next thing, and how can we ensure that we're meeting, Orlando's, food crush, and what can we do to be better? What can we do to raise expectations? How can we be a trendsetter? How can we meet, whatever expectations we have for ourselves and for our diners? I don't know that there's ever really time to rest, or that we want to.
Yeah,
Well, it's good you love it then.
Yeah. I don't see you ever throwing it in neutral at all. So
No.
Thank you so much for joining us.
you
What
for
a
having
great
me.
podcast this was. And please, if you ever have any extra food, you know where we work. we'll be stopping by. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Florida Foodie. We'd also like to thank our guest, Trina Gregory Probst. You can follow her restaurants online, 7 Bites and Sete, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our host is Candace Campos. Please follow her online as well. You can find her on Twitter. Just search @CandaceNews6, and on Facebook, search Candace Campos News 6. I'd also like to thank our technical producers, Derek Mosier and Ryan Hawley. I'm the show's producer, Thomas Mates. Be sure to rate and review us online on whatever platform you use to download your podcasts. And you can also find videos of all of our podcasts on clickorlando.com/podcast.